Mozart, Beethoven, Elvis, Hendrix, Van Halen. Few musicians have their names forever etched into our collective memories. This is exclusive territory reserved only for the exceptions who broke every rule, masters of the highest magnitude. And whether you were a fan of the mighty Van Halen or not, this tribute to the legendary guitarist may offer three things that just might inspire the body of work you're trying to compose for your career. And more than anything, number one, first and foremost, Eddie Van Halen created his own undeniable category of one. Not only with the sounds and the solos, but also with the way he literally reinvented and rebranded his instrument. He may not have originated finger tapping per se. However, he was the first to showcase this explosive technique with flash and panache, a veritable eruption of dive-bombing solos, a lethal combination of mad science and sonic virtuosity. No one else had ever created that combination of operatic influence with a pyrotechnic attack that redefined the sound of the electric guitar. And I think one of the things that first hooked me as a teenager would have been seeing how Eddie Van Halen built his own instruments, that now famous Frankenstrat, with hammer, chisel, and chainsaw. He would combine different guitar necks and bodies and pickups before reassembling them and spray painting them with these wild, colorful striped designs. And so whether it was the explosive guest solo on Michael Jackson's Beat It or using a power drill to announce the opening of Poundcake, Eddie Van Halen created a look and sound that was completely original, not like anybody else. Secondly, Eddie Van Halen was a student of his craft. Now, with a nod to Malcolm Gladwell, Eddie had already put in his 10,000 hours of practice even before he was a teenager. Many lonely nights, alone in his bedroom, endlessly perfecting his craft, pursuing excellence, not fame. And for all of his natural gifts, no one can ever say that Eddie Van Halen didn't put in the 100,000 hours of relentless, lonely work far away from the spotlight. And I believe it was this unadulterated love for his instrument and his profession that translated into the playful way that he performed, that ear-to-ear boyish smile, always the young gunslinger. As he's ripping through the power chords of Unchained or any of his ridiculously sick solos. See, at 65, Eddie Van Halen was still a kid at heart. He was still letting his 6-year-old out to play, and that's how the eternal student became master. And thirdly, Eddie Van Halen was always willing to experiment. Through 6 albums with David Lee Roth as the frontman, Van Halen became the biggest band in the world, but Eddie was always determined to see where else could they take the music beyond the hard rock genre. So against the objections of Roth and almost everybody at the record company, Eddie insisted on using keyboards as the signature sound for Jump, which became the biggest hit they ever had through the course of selling 80 million albums. So stop and think about it. The greatest guitar hero of his generation was willing to bet the farm on an entirely different instrument. It was a level of experimentation never seen from guitar gods like Hendrix, Clapton, or Jimmy Page. And after the flamboyant Roth left the band, the experimentation continued with the arrival of the second lead singer, Sammy Hagar. The chainsaw rock sound expanded into more melodic influences that inspired hits like When It's Love and Dreams and the iconic Right Now. So with Hagar capable of going in more directions musically and vocally, Eddie could compose the kind of music that allowed Van Halen's older and more musically sophisticated audience to grow with them so no one would miss the beat and lose the rhythm. You see, experimentation kept Van Halen relevant for more than 2 decades in a highly competitive industry with 2 different lead singers. For any business leader watching, or if you're trying to build a career, anyone can be inspired by Eddie Van Halen's enduring body of work. How determined are you to be an undeniable category of one? Are you going to be one of a kind or one of a million in the specific industry or category that you're competing in? You know, how much further can you push the boundaries and experiment in the pursuit of excellence? And will you remain the student, deeply in love with your craft, who isn't afraid to let the 6-year-old out to play and have fun with what you do? Because that kind of passion only ever happens for those who are absolutely committed and believe in what they're doing. That's how you conquer imposter syndrome and push through all the fears and self-doubt that goes with it. And you only earn that by actually doing the work, by putting in your 10,000 hours. You see, for me, since 1978, Van Halen was the Beatles, the Stones, Zeppelin, Sabbath, Purple, Elvis, and Sinatra, all rolled up into one. And so when you feel like you're there from the beginning and watching how everybody else wants some, it was just such a ride and such a joy to see them go from the opening act to becoming global megastars. But when you study the story of the Van Halen family, you see that it wasn't always easy, not since they left the mean streets of the Netherlands when they had only like $50 in their pockets and a few suitcases, and they made that cross-Atlantic trip. They were the sons of a professional musician. Eddie was only 6, Alex was 9, and neither of the brothers spoke a word of English, but they had their music, and they had each other. And maybe Eddie Van Halen's greatest legacy is the family name, and especially as it shines through in his one and only son, who's been following in Dad's musical footsteps for quite some time now. Wolfgang joined the band in 2007 as the bass player, and it was Wolfgang who tweeted the sad news October 6th, when he let the world know that Eddie was the best father that I could ever ask for. Every moment I've shared with him, on stage and off, was a gift. Eddie's gift did create more than a little bit of heaven right here on earth. Incomparable talent, tireless work ethic, unimaginable virtuosity. He now plays for the Angels. Thank you, Eddie Van Halen.